What's going on, you legends? Back when I moved into this house in February, I actually recorded everything when I redid my setup, including putting my desk together, all the peripherals, all that sort of stuff. Unfortunately, I never got around to actually putting it into a video. I also never recorded an outro or took a final scene of the setup. However, I've decided to put it into a video just so that you can see everything up until the final reveal. If you hang around to the end of this video, you're going to get a cheeky little reveal of what's to come on my channel. What's going on, legends? So recently I moved into this new place and I thought it was the perfect opportunity to document the process of building my new setup. I haven't really been able to use my PC in the last 6 months, having moved a couple of times, so I really want to spend the time getting this right. In 2023, I really want to try and rediscover my love for gaming, which I feel like it's been slipping over the last couple of years. New games just don't seem to interest me. Old games aren't really interesting me much. So I really want this to be the cornerstone of where I start to discover my enjoyment again. So as you can see, we've currently got a completely blank canvas behind me. And as we continue to add to it over the years, I want it to be an aesthetically pleasing place for me to stream and play games, and also want it to be an improvement over my previous setup that I had in my last house. I use my setup for primarily streaming over on Twitch, where I play RPGs, open world survival games, and various Pokemon challenge runs and Nuzlocks. If you're interested in that kind of thing, I'll chuck a link in the description below. You know the drill. Feel free to drop in, say hello, and ask any questions that you might have. Over the course of this video, I'll mention and go through a lot of the gear that I have. If you're just starting out with gaming and streaming, I'd recommend budgeting a lot better than I did. A lot of the gear that I have is way overkill for the content that I create and the games that I play. I managed to collect a lot of this gear secondhand over the course of a couple of years, but if you do have any questions, feel free to chuck a comment below and I'll get back to you. So in my previous setup, I was using an L-shaped desk, and while it was good, it always felt really cramped, so I've decided to switch over to a straight desk. This will hopefully give me more room for activities and end up looking a bit cleaner overall. I managed to pick up this bench top and legs from Bunnings, which is Australia's version of Home Depot. Unfortunately, there's no IKEA where I live, so the options are pretty limited. I thought it would be easiest to create the screw holes for each leg first and then go through and screw them all in. I might end up adding a couple of legs to the back at some point, but this should do for now. After flipping the desk over, it was time to give it a quick sand and chuck a clear coat of varnish on top to seal it. The amount of trips that I needed to make back and forth to Bunnings over the course of this video, just because I forgot things, was crazy. I did both of these coats a couple of days before actually doing the rest to try and make sure it was all set and ready to go before starting the actual setup. You might have noticed at the start of the video that there was a massive echo in the room, so this is something I really want to address. I'm setting up some acoustic foam for the first time, and it was only about $30 on Amazon for a 24 pack, so I'm pretty interested to see if it's going to improve the overall quality and sound in my streams. My room also backs onto the lounge room, so I'm hoping it's going to reduce the noise I make through the wall to the other side. They were a bit of a pain to stick onto the wall and get level, but it all came together in the end. I have a couple left over, so I think I'm going to put them in a couple of the room's corners just to try and further reduce that echo. I also managed to pick up this Lifex beam, which I'm going to be running through the foam with a little bit of a gap. I think overall it's going to look really good once it's finished. I've tried to leave a slight gap between the foam, which has been measured by a copy of Mario Odyssey, which I think is a valuable unit of measurement, to be honest. My one piece of advice if you're setting one of these up is just make sure you know which end the power cord goes into, because I didn't and I ended up having to stick it in the opposite end to where I wanted. I also picked up some Nanoleaf RGB lights for the back and sides of the desk, because let's be honest, every single gaming setup needs a decent set of RGB lights. Now that we've got the section behind the desk finished, let's move on to the actual main event. Now I just need to work out the best way to set up all of my peripherals. I'll have links to all of these in the description below. Please note that they are affiliate links, I think. I've never set affiliate links up before, so who knows if I actually did it correctly. I'm going to run with a similar monitor layout as my previous setup because it worked pretty well for me before. I'm using a dual monitor setup, which I might look at upgrading in the future. For my main monitor, I have a 27-inch MSI. It's nothing special, but it seems to do the job. For my secondary, I have a really cheap 29-inch ultra-wide in portrait, which I got online. I find I mostly use the secondary for browsing the web or for reading my stream chat, so it doesn't really need to be the best quality. Having it in portrait just gives me so much more room to read web pages and chat. I've got them both mounted to a dual mount I picked up on Amazon. I think mounting your monitors just makes it look a lot more clean and makes it a lot easier to cable manage. First up, for lighting, I'm using an Elgato Keylight and Keylight Air. These were overkill, but I managed to pick them up both really cheap secondhand. I love how I can adjust these through my Stream Deck, but if you're just starting out, I recommend just grabbing a cheap ring light. With the right lighting setup, you can make a cheap webcam look 100 times better. And speaking of cameras, I'm currently using a Sony a5100 with a kit lens. Again, this is something I picked up second hand, and it's the first time I've set it up. I've got an extension arm off one of the lights just to get it in the right spot. I have my camera set up with a dummy battery to save it running out of power midstream, and I'm using an Elgato Cam Link as my capture card. At some point I do want to get a new lens for my camera, but it seems a bit pointless at this stage. Now it's time to set up my microphone. I'm really excited for this. I bought this new microphone just after I broke down my last setup and I haven't had a chance to use it yet. So I'm really interested to see if this along with the acoustic paneling makes a difference. I'm going to switch the audio from my Blue Yeti over to the new mic now. This is the Blue Baby Bottle SL, which is an XLR mic. I have it running into a Focusrite mixer and wow, I can definitely tell the difference. I have this mic mounted on a Blue Compass mic arm and I'm really happy with how this turned out. For my headset I'm running with a pair of Astro A40s. These are really good quality, and while I'd love to have something wireless just to make it more clean on the desktop, to get the same quality in a wireless headset I'd have to spend way too much. While it's annoying having a wire run across the desk, I'll try and hide it under the mousepad. For the mousepad I'm running a Razer RGB one, I don't know what it's called. Keyboard and mouse, wireless and clean. We have the Logitech 502 wireless mouse and a G915 TKL keyboard. Now all of these peripherals are going to be run by my PC. And look, I'm no expert when it comes to PC, but I'll chuck the specs up on the screen. I do want to look at upgrading this to be able to stream newer games, but I'm still a while off being able to do that. It does what it needs to do, which is captures my consoles and runs old school emulator games. Now that we have all of this together, it's the worst part, cable management. I spent a long time on this. I've used a fair few cable raceways and ties to get it done. A lot of people skip over this, but I feel it's really worth investing the time if you're trying to keep everything as clean as possible when you first put everything together. If you don't do it straight away, you're never going to do it. I don't think I need to show you how long it took, but here's a quick before and after of the finished product under the desk. Alright guys, here we go. Let's get ready for some B-roll. So that's it. That's how I recorded it. As you can see, did not get the final video, did not get the final edit with a nice pan shot. However, I've got some new stuff arriving soon, so we're going to be recording that, releasing it in a cheeky little video for all of you guys. If you want to see that, like and subscribe to stick around. And feel free to comment down below if you have any questions so far. Until next time, catch you later.